Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and very welcomed guests. If you are watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or wherever you are in the world, you are most welcome to this actually first episode of Mastery Matters. And tonight we have so far a very special guest with us. For those of you who don't know, we have Lillian Shafter-Kohler, who is our current District Director of District 109. And Lillian, you have been a Toastmaster for 21 years, as I understand. Is that correct?
Indeed, David, that is correct. I first joined Toastmasters in April 1999. I still remember my first meeting. I had no idea at the time what to expect, and I admit that I felt rather overwhelmed for a while. However, it did not take me long to appreciate the value of being a Toastmaster, and I came to be very, very proud of this organization.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And joining us just in the nick of time, we have Francesco Fedeli. You are this year's Region 10 advisor, which is a level above District 109, and you were our first district director. Welcome. Where are you calling from, Francesco?
Thank you very much. I am on my way back home from the office. Not really home yet, but I stopped and hopefully will be able to talk with you without problems.
Wonderful. The connection is okay so far. So let's hope and keep our fingers crossed that things will work out well. And it's truly an honor to have you both with us. So thank you very much for making the time and joining me in this first Mastery Matters. And rather than this being just an interview about Toastmasters and your journeys with Toastmasters, I'd like to get to know you both just a little bit more. And as I understand, on a personal note, you've both recently had birthdays. So I'd like to ask you both, what did you get up for your birthday? How do you like to celebrate? And maybe what do birthdays mean to you? Francesco, would you like to go first?
Oh, yes, because I'm the oldest, older than you, and maybe not put to almost. Celebrated this year my 60th birthday, and I got a beautiful spa. An inflatable spa for my birthday. So it's a great place to relax between Toastmaster meetings. I haven't tried yet to attend a meeting from the spa, but might be a good idea, maybe.
Absolutely. Spa Toastmasters. That's wonderful. And Lillian, what about you for your birthday, which was more recent just now? How did you celebrate your birthday?
I spent it with family, quietly. Gone are the days of wild partying. But I want to say something that was memorable about this year that meant a lot to me was that a family member took significant time out to bake an elaborate cake and present it as a surprise. So something small, but I was really touched. Not by the cake itself, even though it was wonderful, but by the gesture and the effort they put into it. So it's true what people say, that a little bit of love added to the recipe always makes things taste better. My only regret was that I couldn't share it with my fellow district officers.
Ah, yes. Well, absolutely. But you can share the love, as the saying goes. So why not share that around with everyone? I realized just now, Lillian, that you actually share a birthday with my son on the same date in October, and he just turned 9. And I personally, I always like to take the day before the last day of that year, of your year, to reflect on what you've done. So I said to him, went from 8 to 9, and I said, as a time of reflection, what significant things happened for you in that year, or what did you enjoy? So just let me ask you philosophically, for both of you, do you do anything like that? Do you use the last day, 59, Francesco, or 21, Lillian? Did you think about, as you were turning the next age, do you have any thoughts or reflections or something you like to do? Lillian, would you like to go first?
That's a very interesting question, David. And I must first say that over time, I have evolved in this respect. Because when I was younger, the day before my birthday was simply a day of anticipation. I was just waiting eagerly for presents and fun. However, as the years have gone by, I find myself wanting to use the days before my birthday to complete any long-standing pending items on my to-do list. Those important but not urgent items that are not moving. And that way I can start fresh after my birthday.
What a lovely thought. Yeah, really getting rid of all the to-dos and coming back to like a fresh, clean slate for that first day of that new year of your rotation around the sun. What about you, Francesco? Do you have anything other than maybe spending some time in your spa next year? If you're talking, Francesco, you may have muted yourself, the classic "you're on mute" moment there. All right, maybe the connection has also dropped, so Francesco might come back on in a moment. But certainly think about it the next time you have a birthday, maybe you have a birthday coming up, use that as a time of reflection. And perhaps to also think about, as Lillian does, getting rid of some of those to-dos that you have hanging over your head and really starting with a fresh idea. Speaking of, and we've just had a wonderful comment from Joanna there, a Toastmaster for 21 years. That is impressive, Joanna. I've only been a Toastmaster for 7, and I know others who have also been long-standing Toastmasters. And certainly we're going to hear from Lillian in a moment about more about her journey as district director. So Lillian, let me ask you, I once heard the phrase, wisdom is the reward of experience and should be shared. So with your 21 years of Toastmasters experience, what wisdom have you gained that you could share with us? Are there any golden nuggets that our viewers and people watching on, like Joanna, could benefit from?
A very important lesson I have learned over the years is that I'm not Superwoman. My years with this organization have taught me that it's okay to make honest mistakes sometimes. It's okay for all of us. The most important thing is that we should not let these mistakes drag us down. Instead, we should learn from them and get up, ready to try again and again and again, should it be necessary. It's true that this has always been hard for me because I tend to be a perfectionist who wants to get things right at once. And that's what has been so wonderful about the Toastmasters environment. You see, it's so supportive. There are always fellow members who will offer you constructive feedback and then cheer you on, encouraging you to do the best that you can.
Wonderful. Yeah. And I guess you've seen a lot of people in that time. Francesco, welcome back. We see you've changed location. You're on the mute, but maybe when you start to speak, it'll be clearer. So we're just talking about the quote, the idea that wisdom is the reward of experience and should be shared. So you've seen, heard, and you've participated at many levels of Toastmasters. So what would you consider wise and potentially helpful to others in their Toastmasters journey?
Well, I would say the entire Toastmaster journey has been an exchange for me. I think I've given quite a bit to my fellow members in my club, in my area, in my division, in my district. And now I'm giving back something to the district trios that I am supporting this year. But I also got an enormous amount of support and learning from every member that I have met. And that, I think, is the greatest thing in Toastmaster. The more you put into it, the more you can get back.
Thank you for those words. I've heard those mentioned by you once before, at least once before, and to really thank you both. Learn from your mistakes and give to receive. The more you support, the more support you receive. And it's really wonderful to have you both here in this moment, especially as leaders of Europe. And I hear both of you, you're involved in clubs. Lilian, you attended my club last night as a guest, maybe soon to be member. So it's clear from for those of you who are watching, it's clear that our district leaders, both Lilian and Francesco, are operating at club level, area level, division level, district level, and even above district level in Francesco's case. And what an honor it is, as I said, to have you both, but really just to consider that it's clear that you're giving, and it's clear that you have also learned from your mistakes and helping others to grow and learn as well. I'd like to turn our attention now for a moment to the district. And we are District 109, but have only been for 4 years now as this District 109. But of course, Europe itself has had Toastmasters in it for many decades before now. So what has the growth of Toastmasters in Europe been like? So personally, I've been only around for 6 years. We were District 95, now 109. But both of you being long-standing members, what has that growth looked like? And how, in your opinion, how has Toastmasters in Europe really prospered? What's been that sort of secret to that? Francesco, would you like to go first?
Well, to give you some numbers, David, everything started back like 25 years ago with with a council. It was not even yet a district that reunited maybe 15 or 20 clubs around Europe, and they started doing things together. Because one of the first things that you discover in Toastmasters, as you look outside of your club, is that there is a lot of life outside of the club. And you start doing competitions or maybe trainings together and meeting others and seeing how others actually follow the Toastmaster meeting, maybe having some slight difference. And from there, we went to having a district that was originally District 59 to what is now a constellation of 8 districts covering the whole of Europe with more than 1,000 clubs. So from 20 to 1,000 in about 25 years. What has sprinkled this growth, I think, is the passion. The passion of those people who find a lot of benefits from Toastmaster, and they start wanting to bring that benefit to more and more people. So they start building clubs outside of their own club or maybe even outside of their area and outside of their division. And this is, I think, the best thing that has helped the growth of Toastmaster in Europe, which now spawns from the Canary Islands all the way to Siberia. So we actually cover 13 time zones. I think we are at the moment the biggest region in Toastmaster, and definitely one with the most diversity. We have 50 countries in our region. And I think our district has the record, but I'll let that for Lilian to say.
Okay, yes. So regionally, we are huge. And I don't know how, as region advisor, you're going to get across from the Canary Islands all the way to Siberia. That's really quite a long way. So, and Lilian, in your 21 years, so if 25 years ago it was a council, you must have seen a lot of change in this time. So in your opinion, how has Toastmasters in Europe really prospered?
It's definitely been on an upward trend. One thing to note, though, as Francesco mentioned, is that it's also benefiting from new countries entering. So you have the districts that have been growing organically over the years, but you also have the new countries coming in. And I actually belong to one of these countries because when I became a member 21 years ago, I was still in an undistricted club.
Mm-hmm.
So we would look at Europe. It was very impressive. And that was our goal, to become part of this.
Mm-hmm.
And indeed we did. And what I found is that becoming part of a district
Mm-hmm.
allowed, us to give whatever knowledge and experience we had over to the district. And at the same time, we learned so much for the district. I mean, obviously, it's given us great opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just say that I'm very proud that overall, Europe has now become a force to be contended with. So all the European districts. And
Mm-hmm.
we're also proud that the first vice president of Toastmasters International is from Europe. So, Europe is achieving great things.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really great things. And of course, now in your time, you've just recently welcomed in 4 new countries into District 109. So for those of you who missed the new countries event, go back on Facebook and check out the links and the event itself, because we have Turkey, Israel, we have, I've gone blank. Please remind me, Lillian, we have Turkey,
Slovenia?
Israel, Malta, and Slovenia. There it is. I got it out. Which is wonderful. So we're really spreading the message of Toastmasters. And I pick up on what Francesco said here, that building clubs is the way. And it's clear, both of you, we wanted to get to Europe, you said, Lillian. That was our goal. And now that you've gotten to Europe, you haven't rested and said, great job. I've been there, done that. Here you are now as our district director, which for me, it's really that spirit. And I often have referred to our values as rise. We rise to the challenge with respect, integrity, service, and excellence. And it's clear that both of you are rising as we go along. So and now we go a little deeper again, where as senior leaders of our district, where do you see the future going? So we are one of the, growing, fast-growing regions of the world. We span from Canary Islands to Siberia. But where is it going? Are there any, maybe you can't reveal, maybe it's a secret, but where's the growth now for Europe, and where do you see us going? Could there be further splits? We've gone from 2 to 6. And I'm sure COVID also has curtailed a little bit of that expansion. Clubs are suffering a little bit, but we want to, get people back in. We went online. We're now hybrid as well. So really, in your opinions, where do you see the future for District 109 and for Europe in general? Lillian, would you like to go first?
Definitely. I will focus on District 109, the district we should be very proud of, because it's achieved a lot and has the potential to go so much further. It's true that over the last couple of years, we've seen a bit of a drop in member retention due to the pandemic, but we are working very hard already to reverse the trend, to grow again. Through our varied events and incentives, we're trying to reach out to every single member to remind them of the value of being a Toastmaster. Our newsletter reflects all the activity that is going on, and we're inviting more and more people to join in. I do believe that as we begin to leave the pandemic behind us, the enthusiasm will grow even more. And even now, we are happy to say that new clubs are constantly being born, offering opportunities to more people to become members. And as you said, we had the 4 new countries that added even more to District 109. So all in all, I do believe that there will be a split, not tomorrow, but we are already 14 countries. We're going to grow more, 131 clubs. Somewhere down the line, we will have to split for the sake of efficiency. Not right now. I'm really happy with our district as it is today.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Francesco, of course, you began our district and was part of this transition to District 109. Where do you see future splits or the growth in Europe now that you're at the regional level? You may have more insights for us. Yeah.
Well, my experience is that growth comes both organically from the growth in countries that are already in Toastmaster, but also from the new countries, as Lillian mentioned. And
Mhm.
I can tell you, for example, Italy, when I joined Toastmaster 10 years ago, there were only 4 clubs in Italy. And
Mm.
when we actually joined the district, it gave us a big push. And now there are more than 30 clubs across Italy
Wow.
because of the kind of support that we got, because of the atmosphere that was created. A lot of
Mhm.
new clubs have been started. That said,
Mm.
the future for me is a more digital experience where
Mhm.
we are becoming more and more usable using the technology. We've
Mhm.
had to do it when we went online. Now we are doing it in a different way with the hybrid. But I think we will see more and more support for technology in our
Mhm.
organization in order to make it even more efficient, to work
Mhm.
better, to
Mhm.
be more able to support the members, which in the
Mhm.
end is the important thing. We want to offer
Mm.
always a better experience than what we had in the past. Becoming
Mhm.
always better, that's a big challenge. And
Mm.
now, especially, we face a challenge of somehow rebuilding after the impact of the
Mhm.
pandemic. But I think we are
Mhm.
rebuilding a different organization and possibly a better, more up to date organization.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, uh, credit to you both as senior leaders. In the past 2 to 3 years now, we've had online conferences, online DECMs, we've had district meetings where we've been able to interact. Even this software, StreamYard, wonderful. Our PR director, Paola Perina, wonderful to invest in this technology to bring us together just tonight to interact with Toastmasters across District 109 and further afield on Facebook. So we had someone who just acknowledged the vision there, a Facebook user. Thank you for your thought. That's wonderful. And this is where the digital technology brings us together as Toastmasters. So I'm aware of the time. So as both of you have been district directors, currently Lillian is the incumbent, and I want to know a little bit about what does the role involve. So many people, including myself, I've taken on club roles. I've been an area director, then I was a division director, and I want to know because there will be others like me who think, oh yeah, maybe at some point in my Toastmasters career, I'd like to do this too. I'd like to, but I want to understand from you both, for instance, how many hours are you putting in a week as district director, or when you were district director, Francesco? And none of us get paid, as we know. So, specifically, what do you get out of it? So, two questions there. How many hours a week are you putting in as a district director? And is there anything special that someone should know about if they're thinking about taking that journey? And yeah, what do you get out of it? Francesco, would you like to go first?
Yes, David. So, how many hours did I put in? Well, maybe a couple of hours every evening. So,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes quite a big job.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, you get back as much as you put in. I already said that.
Mm-hmm.
And the experience of actually managing a district is, I would say, close to that of managing a small company. You have
Mm.
like 40 people working with you between
Mm-hmm.
your core team and the area directors and division directors. And you
Mm-hmm.
have a small, medium budget to handle every year
Mm-hmm.
between, let's say, 100,000 and 150,000 euros that
Mm-hmm.
you're responsible for. So you
Okay.
learn how to
Mm.
manage at a higher level because you're not responsible of doing things anymore and not even
Mm-hmm.
of having them done indirectly, but you're managing the people who actually get things to happen. So that is,
Mm.
I would say, a great experience. And you can make mistakes, even as a district director, and you have a safety net around you, because all the people in your team, they're all aiming at the same mission, making the district support the clubs. And even if district director forgets something, there is someone in the team ready to help. I was so lucky when I was district director to have Lillian as my admin manager, and she saved my life a lot of times, reminding me about things that needed to be done and making sure that we would still provide a good service to our members.
Wonderful. Lillian, what are your thoughts? Sharing the same advice?
Similar advice, yes. What's interesting is that one of the main questions that I'm being asked this year is, how does the PQD role compare to the district director role? And in answer to that, I say that they cannot be compared. The PQD works in supporting the district in specific ways: training, contests, other educational programs. But as Francesca was saying as well, the district director role is more administrative. You are the team leader, responsible for guiding the team, pulling everything together, and being the final decision maker. So it's more complicated, a lot more going on. You do need to put more time into it. It varies. In September, we had a very heavy month, let's say, with many events, many meetings. October is a little lighter, but again, you do need those 2 hours a day minimum, I would say. Now, there is pressure to achieve certain goals. So you are under pressure. But what I would like to say is that it is so rewarding at the same time when you see the district and the members benefiting from the strategies. And another positive is that being the district director gives you the opportunity to interact with so many other wonderful leaders from around the world and to learn from them.
So it's really that level of growth where you're going up and out, meeting more people around the world of Toastmasters. That's wonderful. And thank you both for your thoughts, honestly, because it's the kind of environment, sometimes people tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, have you thought about this, and this in your journey as a Toastmaster? But for many, their journey starts at club level, of course, and thinking about being a club member, then maybe part of the club executive team as well. So we may have many people at club level watching the recording a little bit later as well. From your perspectives, both as club members, but also team leaders and being, as you said, in charge of like a small company, what do you see, or what would be a piece of advice for club executives to think about in terms of, a learning that you might have from the past? Francesco, would you like to go first there?
Well, every role in the ExCom provides you with a different learning opportunity. One of the ones I love most, and I'm actually covering it even this year, is being the VPPR in my club, because I learned a lot about marketing and social channels and promoting my club, doing that role. And again, I made a few mistakes. I learned a lot.
Good.
Part of learning.
You're cutting out a little bit there, Francesco. Let me give Lillian a moment just to say a few words as we need to come to an end shortly. Lillian, anything for our clubs that you could provide as a perspective?
My message to the clubs will be short and simple. I do believe that clubs are the life force of our organization. As such, you are all, as club officers, as club members, so important to us. We at the district level are here to support you in anything you may need. So please do reach out to the district team. I personally am always happy to hear from our members around the district. And if you invite me to join one of your meetings, whether it's online, hybrid, or even in person, I will find a way to be there with great pleasure.
Thank you, Lillian. And that's perhaps a rich way to end our conversation. Francesco, I'd like to give you an opportunity for a final message or a word. You too, Lillian, because that was one of my questions that I had wanted to ask you both. So before we wrap up, anything as a final message or anything you want to leave us with? What do you think, Francesco?
If you want to earn something from Toastmaster, if you want to speed up your learning, put yourself in the worst possible position. Go completely outside of your comfort zone. You will learn a lot. It will maybe be heavy. It will be challenging for sure, but you will definitely learn a lot.
Thank you. And Lillian, what is your final message for us this evening?
Final message is that I would like to encourage you all to consider taking up positions on the district team in the future. Indeed, there is significant work involved, but at the same time, it is such a rewarding experience. Now, I want to let you know that our district will be organizing an event in the coming weeks where all the district roles will be presented and discussed, so you can understand more about them and what could suit you. So I hope to see you all there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. On behalf of the PR team of District 109, our audience, please think and thank Lillian Schafter-Kohler, our present District Director, and Francesco Fedele, who is our Region 10 advisor. Thank you both for being our first interviewees for our wonderful Mastery Matters series, where tonight we talked leadership. We heard from you, and I think some really wonderful insights that our members across Europe, from the Canary Islands to Siberia, across our various districts and regions, can take into their lives as Toastmasters. So I wish you both a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining me. And to those viewing, please stay in touch with us through Facebook, through LinkedIn, through our website and various channels. And we look forward to bringing you another episode of Mastery Matters. Good night.